Hi, today we're going to talk about napping as a strategy. This is a strategy for dealing with anxiety and insomnia combined. Now, depending on opinions that you read, napping might not be the best solution as, compared to maybe if you were practicing yoga nidra. But let's firstly talk about napping. Napping is basically something that's an emergency situation. So you need to get some sleep. Soldiers who have seen action or are in the middle of action actually understand more about napping and how to get the most out of napping because it's an absolute necessity. Otherwise, you're going to lose your mind. So when we stop and we think about napping, it's a lifesaver. So that's the reason why people use it as a strategy. Insomnia is going to cause you anxiety. Anxiety is going to cause you insomnia. That's the relationship. So to break that up, here we have napping as a strategy. You don't want to do napping, for example, a few hours before bedtime. You probably want to do napping, ideally, if you were a day shift person, as soon as you get home from work. Actually, I used to see my grandfather do it all the time. He'd get home from work, he'd go to bed. He'd go to bed for an hour, and then he would get back up, and he would be up till, say, 10 or 11 o'clock, and then go back to bed again. So everyone's works it differently, but I actually saw somebody use it as a lifestyle. And I would say for him, it was a lifesaver. He had a long life. Now, moving on to Yoga Nidra. Yoga Nidra is very effective. It might not have some of the deeper forms of sleep. It's definitely a form of meditation and relaxation. You're working your way between, say, dreaming and also meditation. So it's right there on the fence or in the twilight between the two of them, between sleep and between meditation. If we stop and we think about it, you might not, get into those deeper forms of sleep. And there's a lot of other situations that come up where yoga nidra isn't usually intended for sleep. But I would say if you fall asleep and you're seriously dealing with anxiety, it's all good. So it's one of those things where if somebody does fall asleep and doesn't achieve a state of yoga nidra, so what? At least you got sleep and at least you got some rest. The other point is sleep meditation. Sleep meditation's different from yoga nidra. Sometimes people actually do fall asleep intentionally on purpose. And I would say that's fine. It's one of those things where you have to play and you have to see the results. So why am I bringing all these up? Because a lack of sleep is going to cause you anxiety, and anxiety is going to cause you a lack of sleep. So we want to do something that interrupts that relationship, because that is not a good relationship for us to be part of. With that in mind, I want to wish you farewell.